What is up, guys? Welcome to the Emman and Jan show.
Welcome to the Emman and Jan show. Woohoo!
It's been a while, huh?
Well, it hasn't been too long actually.
It's been 2 months.
We're trying to be more consistent. I know we said we're gonna be consistent, and then 2 months passed by. But hey, we're here. We're back.
Yeah, I started school randomly. I think that's another thing too.
That is true. He did start school.
It kept me busy.
That is true. You've been on it. He was doing pretty good. He just finished last week?
Yeah, technically this week.
Oh yeah, huh?
Yeah.
Yesterday, Saturday was the last day.
Yeah.
You're right. Yeah. So it's been a little crazy for us. Well, not too crazy. I've been busy with work. Emmanuel's been busy with school, and then we've just been trying to make time for each other, and family and holidays and happy holidays, by the way.
Happy holidays, everybody.
Yep. I hope you guys had a great Thanksgiving, and we hope that you guys have a good Christmas and a New Year's. Cause dang, did the time fly by, right?
And it always feels like every single year the time just flies by a lot faster.
I mean, it does. The world keeps spinning. And it don't stop.
It stops for nobody.
Exactly. But I mean, it's cool to see another year, although sometimes it doesn't feel like anything changes, But it's nice to have, kind of have a reflection every year, Reflect on how it was this last year and see, okay, well, what can I do differently or how can I improve this year, And I know a lot of people initiate physical stuff.
Yeah.
And that's not bad, But because physical, I think when it comes with fitness, it definitely affects your mentality.
Yeah.
Which changes that into a positive way. Learning how to overcome things a little better, realizing how much your body can take.
Mm-hmm. Putting yourself up even into more challenging things,
Exactly.
Because then sometimes in the gym you already challenge yourself, and then you're like, okay, now I got stronger. Now I can challenge myself a little more.
Yeah, or challenge yourself in other ways.
Exactly.
Like, okay, I achieved this challenge. Like, okay, what else can I challenge myself in? And what other aspect in my life can I challenge?
Yeah.
Not just the physical, but it'll.
That's why it translates to the real life world,
Yeah, exactly.
You challenge yourself mentally in different ways,
Exactly, but yeah, guys, moving on from that, we did have a topic we wanted to talk about today. Of course, we don't always have topics. Sometimes we just come up and be like, let's do a freaking podcast. Let's talk about whatever comes out, But today we do have something in mind, which is why we're gonna call this podcast "I'm going against the current," because I think nowadays in this society, and I mean I think overall, not just this society, for the past years, it's always been like this, where we always just want to go with the flow.
Yeah, go and follow the crowd,
Yeah, it's easy to follow the crowd because of course they're all going one way. Just join them, right?
Yeah.
Whereas if you're going against it, you're gonna get pissed off. You're gonna fight some people along the way.
You're gonna have a lot of roadblocks.
People are gonna push you around.
Yeah.
Yell at you and tell you shit for going the opposite way.
Be like, you're doing things wrong.
Exactly.
You're
not going the right way, bro.
Yeah.
And in your case, you're telling them you're not going in the right way. So it's just something that we notice, and I mean we've noticed for years now, but it's something that we do want to point out today. Pretty much just how the media affects us and our mentalities and what is okay and what's not okay. Of course, we as humans are meant to be social and interactive. Social media has definitely taken a lot of that away because we're not as in-person social. We're just more easily
hidden behind the screen in a way.
Correct, yes.
Or oh yeah, we have so many friends, and it's all on your phone.
I know, yeah. You have all those friends, but when do you actually see them and hang out with them and have a full-on conversation with them, face to face,
Yeah.
It can be different sometimes when you're talking to somebody over the phone. You feel more comfortable to say certain things or act a certain way. Whereas in person, you're just awkward. And you're like, ugh, I'm anxious. Oh my God, I haven't actually seen them in a while, or anything like that. So I think it definitely just changes interactions for sure, but overall it definitely changes perspective of what is expected from us and what's normal and what's not normal, So for example, with shows, movies, and music, they all nowadays, if you see some of this stuff, like that Doja Cat stuff was freaking weird.
Oh yeah, that was really weird.
the demonic type of crap, and I'm like, whoa, what type of stuff is this?
Yeah.
I get it, if that's where she's trying to go, but for that switch to have kind of,
happened randomly, huh?
It was just random,
Yeah.
not gonna lie, you know?
And I feel like there's a lot of things that have been even revolved around the devil, like in music.
But if you think about it, think about how she was dressed. Don't you think some people will be like, oh, whoa, she's like a demon, and sexualize her and the way she's like suited up in that?
Mm-hmm.
You get me? Like they're trying to be like, oh, I'm evil and I'm demonic, but this is sexy.
Yeah.
You know, but it's like, how is that?
They're like trying to normalize things.
Yeah, you know, it's like weird. It's like, I mean, you know, if you're into that, then maybe you're into that. But like, you have to really see for what it really is. Like, I think that there's more to what the eye sees. You know?
Yeah.
Like people don't realize that symbolism has been a part of the world for years and years and years, and like the U.S. uses a lot of symbolism. All these states and countries use symbolic things, you know. So why wouldn't you assume or think that these artists and, you know, platformed people, why wouldn't they be using these things, right? So it's just crazy. But like going back to it, like on these shows or movies, sometimes like there's a lot of things that like occur, like, and you know what, there's nothing wrong with it, because some of these movies will show some real life crap that happens in real life and stuff that has occurred. But then like, if you really think about it, like we were just talking about the Rocky movie, how it was super good and how like Rocky motivated all these people, right?
Yeah. And then like nowadays I feel like that's not something that is going on right now. Like there's not too many movies that motivate the youth nowadays, you know. I feel like when we were coming up, there's always like these Rocky movies, these inspirational movies that really pushed us, even music wise, you know. Eminem went through his phase where he was crazy, you know. But then he did come up with some really good songs, like Lose Yourself, you know.
Like pushing yourself to the limits, see how far you can go. And I think that's definitely what society needs, because like I think that in a way we have become weak, you know, where it's like, well, not like weak, just like more weak-minded, where it's like, oh no, it's getting hard, and poor me, and poor
pretty
this,
mean, pretty
yes, 100%. I'm not gonna lie, I've gone through that shit too, like, fuck, like, why is this happening? Oh my god, happening to me and my family, and oh my god. But then at the same time, it's like, hey, like, I've realized that this isn't only happening to me and my family, like, this stuff happens to a lot of people. It's more common than you think, and we can't just feel bad for ourselves. We have to know how to overcome it and not let it get to our heads and be like, okay, this is happening, but you know what, I can't fix that, you know. In a way, I can only speak for it and advocate for it. How can we prevent this in the future? How can I prevent that within my household? How can I, you know, better the relationships with these people, you know? So it's like
taking control of your controllables, pretty much.
Exactly, taking control of what you can control, because that's when people start to be so weak-minded, because they're like, oh my god, how is this gonna, like, there's no way. And it's like, honestly, yeah, you're not completely wrong. It's not that there's no way, it's just, it's out of your control. And some things we have to learn to just like deal with in a way. I'm not trying to be like, deal with it, because it's not that easy, you know. Take your time. And like, I remember my dad told me this, like at one point he saw me like breaking down, and he was like, you know what, let it out today, but tomorrow, like, I want to see you up and running. And then I was just like, what the fuck, like, you don't have no pity for me, bro. Like, you just want me to just keep going like nothing, you know. But at the same time, like, I did take that into consideration. I kept that in my mind a lot, like, even after that, I was like, you know what, F that, you're right. What is crying around gonna help me with? I'm just gonna waste some time, you know. In the end, I know that I'm gonna be okay even after this. Like, he's not completely wrong. You know. True. And so yeah, we just have to keep that in mind sometimes. And but going back to the movies.
Oh yeah.
So yeah,
a little tangent there, but
right.
Good explanations.
It is. So yeah, like Emmanuel was saying, like, there's a lot of movies back in the day that would really push to motivate and kind of just like show people like that what you don't think is possible can be possible if you truly set your mind to it.
Exactly.
Like we were just saying how like what Sylvester Stallone, yeah, that's his name, right? Okay.
Yeah, Sylvester Stallone.
Yeah, Sylvester Stallone, how they didn't even want him to be the main character in the movie.
Yeah, and it was his own movie.
You said he wrote it or directed it?
I think he directed it. Well, he wanted he wrote it first,
Okay, yeah.
and then he went to go give it to directors, and then they liked the idea of the movie, but they didn't want him as the main actor.
Yeah.
Because of his like speech impediments, you know. They said that it would discredit the character and whatnot.
Yeah.
But he kept going to many places.
He's like, fine, screw you guys.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be the main character.
Yeah. This is my movie, you know.
And that's
he finally made it.
So see, that's like an example right there. Like initially they didn't even want him to play the main character, even though he wasn't the writer of it. And like how good those movies turned out to be, how popular that like all his movies were, how motivated people, like even just earlier, like we're listening to motivational stuff, and he's one of the main top people with the audios for motivation. Ain't that freaking nuts?
That's crazy, huh?
Yeah, it is nuts. So that just shows you guys, like, people are gonna bring you down. They will. They freaking will. And the world is gonna try to bring you down, especially when you have high hopes. People are gonna be like, no. But the fact is to not stop trying. Once you give up, you're giving up, and you're throwing in the can or kicking the can, whatever you want to say.
Or the towel. Throwing in
the towel. There you go.
I think kicking the can is when you die.
I know. Never mind.
No, it's the bucket or something like that.
I have no idea. Oh yeah, that's when they'd hang people. Oh my god.
That's what they said?
Yeah, I think so. You're right. Because that's when people would like, they'd stand on it and they'd have like the noose and stuff like that, and then they'd kick it. Yes. Yeah.
Is the bucket weighted, or how is?
What do you mean?
Or what do you mean, like kick the bucket?
The bucket would be under, like they'd be standing on it.
Yeah. Oh.
You get it? So then once
sense.
they kick it, they're no longer having
like
stability under their feet. Yeah. So now they have the noose from their head.
I didn't even know that actually.
Yeah, so I think that's where that came from. So my
that
bad.
Makes sense.
That's not what I was trying to say. I meant to say throw in the towel.
Yeah.
I said throw in the can. Whatever.
It was pretty close.
Yeah. But
damn, I had no idea about that actually.
Yeah. Crazy stuff.
You learn something new every day, guys.
Yeah. That's nuts. But anyways, I kinda lost track of what I was gonna say here.
Huh.
Just overall,
yeah, people are gonna doubt you. I think that's what we're talking about.
Yeah, you're right.
As you keep on succeeding and going forward with something, now there's always gonna be people who like want to bring you down, you know?
Yeah, dude, people that are gonna doubt you, including your own family members. Like when you would think that they're the ones that would support you the most, and even in the midst when you've supported them, like you would think they're gonna support me, and you'll get to the point where people will even be like, "Oh, I didn't think you were gonna make it." You know, and it's happened to me, and I'm like, what? What do you mean? How dare you ever think that? How dare you?
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's like, well, you have your opinions, and I see what you thought about me and how you thought about me. But here I am, motherfucker. Sorry, it's true. It's so true.
It really is true. You know?
Yeah, just like, So yeah, don't feel bad when it's even your own family, because honestly I think it's probably going to be your own family that's going to be more honest with you and probably say things that you don't want to hear. But don't take that as a...
Like, don't take it to heart.
Yeah, don't take it to heart. You know them, and just prove them wrong. Right?
And at the end of the day, no one knows yourself other than yourself, you know? Like, don't discredit yourself because of what other people say.
Exactly.
And just keep going forward, you know?
Exactly. That's how we gotta do it. But going back to the movies, going back to how the influence of this sex. So we talked about Sylvester and how his movies really did influence, and to this day continue to influence because of those audios that like will show up and people use them and hear him, and it's going to be an ongoing thing with this motivational stuff that he influenced, right?
Exactly.
But if you think about the stuff and influence that are out now, a lot of these things influence or show like a lot of sex, a lot of cheating, lying, like, oh my god, yeah, it brings attention because like, what, this happened, you know, it's all the chisme, like, you know, all the freaking gossip, and oh my god, this, oh my god, that, and it's something to talk about. I get it, you get me, and it's interesting. I'm not gonna lie, it's not like I'm not into this crap either, you know. Shoot, sometimes I'm over here watching The Bachelor in Paradise, and I'm like, ooh, this person's now she's talking to this guy, and you know, it's gonna be something that like lures you in, but we can't allow it to influence us.
Can't let it to influence our lives, I think. Like, I feel like growing up, a big thing was like Mean Girls, you know? And like, I forgot what this other like show. Like that was, I think, was it Mean Girls? I think, was that a show or was that like
it was
a movie?
It was a movie.
That's another show. Then I forgot the name of the show.
Like what did you know? Like who
like
played in it? Or
oh, Gossip Girl. There you go.
Oh, okay.
I think
I've heard of it, but I never watched that.
But I mean, even all those shows that revolve around like the cool kids and like them always having sex and the biggest parties and whatnot, you know. And I feel like that's what people in their high school years think is cool, you know. And then they're like, oh, now I'm gonna go get with this guy because this and that, you know.
Yeah.
Like, cause they're, I don't know, the football jock or something like that. And I don't know. I think that just really like influenced a lot of people.
Yep.
Like just because of the movies and whatnot.
Yeah, 100%. I feel like stuff like that. Like okay, in reality, yeah, there is some of that stuff. You get me? But I just feel like they try to. I don't know what it is that they like portray them as like this is who you want to be.
Yeah.
This is where you would want to be. You know, and it's like. What about the nerds and the cool, like, you know, like the band people? They're freaking dope too, dude.
Yeah, dope.
Like, they're smart as hell, funny as hell, have good humor. Like, it's not just like, you know, if anything, the popular people are dicks.
Yeah.
They're the people that are the rudest and meanest and what they think because they're attractive or because they're the cool person. It's allowable. Like, no, that doesn't change the fact that you have an ugly personality.
Exactly.
And that's why some people won't want to be around that. But others are willing to drop their morals, drop their whatever their freaking beliefs just to be on that platform alongside with them.
Yeah,
you
pretty
know?
much. You know, I guess because like they have the nicest cars and everything like that. You know, and at the end of the day, sometimes not even theirs, it's their parents. You know.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. You know, and that's true. You know, like I think with that, like especially being in high school. I'm sure I know I got influenced with some stuff like that. I'm not gonna lie. You know, you're like, oh, the popular kid, that's cool. You know, oh, they do this, they smoke, they drink. Oh, I want to drink. I want to go out and party. Like, I want to experience that stuff. Like, and now I look back at it and I'm like, damn, dude. Like, I was so little and I was exposed to stuff like that. Like, in reality, like, I wish I would have enjoyed my youth. Like, how a youth should have been. Like, enjoy your things, go play sports, go do this, go do that, you know, like enjoy your freaking youth. Like I get it, you're young, you're gonna get into some trouble here and there, you know. But when it comes to doing like adult stuff, like when it comes to sex and like drinking and partying, like that stuff can wait, you guys. Honestly, like it can totally wait because then you're experiencing certain things and I don't know, I just feel like it's not as enjoyable when you get to a certain age, if that makes sense. Like I think things are worth waiting for.
Yeah,
that's what I'm trying to say.
I think so too. I think just because it's associated with being adults, like all adults drink, adults smoke, adults do this and that, you know. That's why these kids want to grow up to do the same thing, you know. They're like, oh, I'll be an adult if I smoke. I'll be an adult if I drink, you know. And then these people are like, oh my gosh, do you hear that person? He just like took a shot or drank this and that, or he brought this to school, you know, and then they become apparently cool to everybody else, you know.
Exactly, and that's true, and that's like it just sucks to see that sometimes because I like look back at like the years of like I don't know, like I just wish I didn't experience those things at a young age because I was exposed to it at a younger age, and I just feel like. I see my niece and nephew growing and I'm like, oh my god, they're way too young to ever want to experience this stuff. Like, you know, my niece is going, to 11 years old, 12, or she's going to 12, I think. Oh my god, they're growing up. But the point is, like, she's going to be hitting middle school soon and I'm just like, whoa, this is like the times that I got exposed to certain things. And that's like, you know, it's starting to think about those things like, oh my god, like, I thought I was a grown-ass kid growing up. But in reality, you're not an adult, you're not a grown-up, you don't know any better. Like you're still learning, and
there's a lot to learn still.
And you're messing up your brain cells, and your health and your body. Like,
I think that's why I was doing like in high school. I really did take care of myself, you know, and I did everything. You know, I wanted to be like the best kid, I guess, in the world. You know, I did sports. I did really intense classes. You know, I excelled in my grades, and I joined clubs, made a club. You know, and despite all that, like. I was one of the cool kids, but I was never associated with I guess the partying and drinking. So that was like, I guess I was cool and well known, but mostly with like I guess nerds, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And in the school, I was known because just I guess being around them, you know, because they're all in the same area,
Yeah.
all the cool kids. But then like I noticed that in a way I wasn't invited to certain things because I didn't participate and stuff like that, you know, because
they're like they still left you out in some ways as well.
I was left out in other ways, you know.
Yeah.
And I was like, huh, why me, you know? So then when I got to like college, I think that's when I did go crazy. Because then I was like, well, this is what other people want, you know? And that's where I did let myself get influenced. And now I realize that it shouldn't have never been that way, you know?
Yeah, 100%. That's true. Because, yeah, I think that's one thing that we all want in life, especially as kids growing up. We want to be able to fit in. We want to know, okay, where do I fit in? And I think that sometimes it's like, well, where do I want to fit in? You know, where do I want to? It's not where you want to, it's who you really are.
Yeah. And
where you choose to be, you know.
Kind of goes back to our topic, right? Like, going against the current, you know? I did feel, I guess, alone going against the current, and that I was like, damn, I want to be part of something, you know? And that also goes to the part where like people want to be part of a community and don't want to be outcasted.
Yeah,
you know?
Exactly. That is true. But no, yeah, I feel like you definitely did experience that in your way, because like I know you were doing good in high school and everything, you had good grades and everything. So of course people are gonna get to know you because the school themselves is like, hey, promoting you. You know, they're promoting good. You know,
yeah,
that's what schools try to promote. They're not ever gonna be like, who wants drugs and alcohol and there's gonna be a party today. You know, like they're not promoting that. They're like, look, this is an honor roll student, so he's gonna get recognition. You know, so yeah, you're gonna get recognized through that stuff, and that's how people are gonna know you. And you know, but like you said, you weren't always invited to everything. And I'm sure at some point you're like, well, how come they didn't invite me?
Yeah.
You know? But like in the end it's like, well, maybe it's best that they didn't invite you, that you weren't included in that, because in the end that's not really who you are.
Exactly,
yeah, you know?
But it's just, I guess, that feeling of being outcasted. It's just, I think, a natural human instinct, you know?
It is, 100%. And honestly, that's what's crazy. Like in my previous job, you guys, like I felt like I would just go to work and like I didn't feel like that environment was for me. Like I would hear people talking certain ways, saying certain things, very like negative.
Yeah. And
at that time I was in a negative state of mind, and I felt like I wanted to go to work and get away from all that stuff, you know? Whereas like when I'd get to work, I just feel like I would consistently be exposed to this negative stuff, and I wouldn't say certain things. I wouldn't like, and I could tell I felt different from everybody else. I definitely felt, like you said, like outcasted. I'm like, I don't belong here. I do not belong here. Like I just know I don't. And how many times did I tell you that? Like I don't belong here, dude.
Yeah.
Like I just don't feel like I fit in. I just don't feel like I can relate
to
to any of these people whatsoever. Like. And I tried. I was there for a while. Like, you know, I really, really tried.
You did it for like 6 months almost.
I really tried, and it's like, I still just was like, you know what? Yeah, this is not where I need to be right now. You know? And leaving that job, I felt so happy. The happiest I've ever been. Even Amanda was like, damn, babe, you seem really happy. I'm like, because I freaking am. Like, yeah, I was like, dude, I'm so glad to not go back there, to be honest. Like, I mean, you know, I did make some friends, I'm not gonna lie, but like just overall it really wasn't, I don't know who I was.
Your environment pretty much.
Yeah, not my environment for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, guys, I mean, I think growing up, like we just need to stop, we need to slow down.
Yeah.
We need to slow everything down, you know, especially with the kids. If you guys have kids, or if you guys have like little siblings, like let them be young. Don't tell them grow up, like, you know, don't tell them, oh my god, stop being like that, like
stop being a baby.
let them be babies. They're little, like, you know, what do you expect? It depends, obviously there's like a limit to
a certain extent,
you know. But like when they're growing up, they don't know how to like really how does it say, like express their emotions correctly, you know. So sometimes it's going to be expressed as tears or anger or like quietness, silence, you know. Like we're learning, and like I think that's something we have to kind of learn to do on our own and kind of teach our future, like, you know. like how to
deal with their emotions,
understand themselves. What do you want? Don't let them influence you.
Yeah.
If you don't want to do that, you don't have to. You know, it's just true, because I feel like sometimes we are like, I feel like we just tell them, don't do it, don't do that, do that, you know?
Yeah.
And like, at least if we don't always have to say, no, don't do this and don't do that. We could just be like, hey, we recommend you not do this. Ultimately, it's your choice. You will see the consequences of that. But if you decide to do this, make sure that you're in a safe environment, or make sure that you have this, or make sure that you have that, or, you know, or make sure you at least let me know. I'll get mad, but you know what? I'll overcome it because we're talking about it. You know, it's always communication as well.
And you build that at a very young age with your kid too, you know?
Build that trust.
Yeah.
Too. But yeah, it is definitely.
I just realized something, you know, like how I was talking about like the whole wanting to be part of something. Like sometimes even there's wolves and like lions and stuff that get like outcasted from their pride, and then they just create a new pride, you know, from like, well, they build their own pride again. Like yeah, they group their manada.
Is that what it's called? The pride?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, it is.
Oh shoot.
I was like, what's another word?
Like,
yeah.
Like they're
pack.
Pack. Yeah.
Yeah.
Pack.
Yeah. So like for wolves is pack, and I think for lion is pride.
Okay, that makes sense.
And then but yeah, so like they get outcasted and then they just rebuild it again, you know. So who says we can't just rebuild something good for ourselves, you know?
100%. And I feel like that's what people don't realize. I feel like some people, going back to like feeling sorry for yourself, you're like, oh my god, like because of this, because of that, like move your environment, change your environment. Like for example, if I can't focus here at school, at home, I can't focus because of this, I can't focus because of that, well then get out of there and go to the library and study there. Choose a different environment. You don't have to be here all the time. You get me? Like, it's true. Like, we're in charge of our own destiny, and I think people don't realize that because they think that they're incapable of being in charge of it.
Yeah.
But you're totally, like, there's no other way. You're completely capable, and I'm sorry, but you have no other choice but to have to be capable.
Yeah, exactly.
Of your own freaking destiny. It is what it is.
Yeah, because no one else is gonna come and just help you out like that, you know. You have to start by helping out yourself.
Yep, exactly, and that's true. Like you said, sometimes you have to. You don't fit in there. That's fine. Create your own area where you will fit in and where others can fit in with you.
Exactly.
You know. And
that's where I guess I did get confused. You know, I was just like, if I can't join, then if I can't beat them, join them, right? Or something like that. That's what I thought. And then I was like, well, I'm gonna be the best at this. And it got too crazy, you know. And I'm so glad it's over with now.
That's true.
Yeah, because I was not in the right path, you know.
Yeah.
I got to see all that stuff with clubs and like promoting and parties and all that stuff, and it's not the place you want to be at, you know.
And people don't realize how, like, I look back at moments now and think about, like, I just talked to like my brother and like his friends, like, well, it's all our friends to be honest, because we all grew up together. They're always together, so I say his friends mainly, but they're honestly all our friends. But like we were just talking last night, you know, about the things that we've all done together, and we're just like, oh my god, you guys, we could have literally died like this night, or oh my god, you guys, this happened and I can't believe we didn't die, you know. Like, it's just like we look back at it and it's like, oh my god, we really put our lives at risk for like a good time, when it didn't need to be that way. We were already having a good time, but now we're just going under the influence and putting our lives at risk at that point, you know. And it's not good, you know. It's not good. And so people don't really realize that you really are risking a lot. Like, you'll see people, young kids who go to parties or do this or go to raves or go to here where they're not supposed to be, and they end up like dead sometimes, or hurt, or, you know. And it's like, oh my god. And it does suck to hear stuff like that, like they were so young, or they were this, like that, you know. But it's like it's hard to hear this, you guys, but ultimately it was a choice, you know. That really was a choice, and it was not the best one, you know. But that's why we have to talk about this. As hard as it is, we have to bring this stuff up and be like, we don't need to fit in where we don't belong.
Exactly.
You know, there's just some things that aren't for us.
Yeah. And that's kind of reminds me of like, well, going back to going against the current, right?
Yeah, that's why this is wrong, guys. Go against the freaking current, man. Literally.
Yeah, that's how it is, huh?
And that's the thing. That's, I think people just find that it's easier to go, like we said, going with the current, you know. And people are gonna look at you weird for wanting to go against. But you know what? That's the better attention to draw.
Yeah.
It really is.
You really stand out like that, you know?
Yeah, 100%. And people are gonna, the people who go against the freaking current are the ones that get admired the most. Who get like, and it's true, you see it with everything when it comes to a lot of things, you know. So that's why, like, even with like the brand that Emman's trying to like create, well, we both came up with this, but he's really promoting it on his end with social media. I'm not much of a social media person, but he's the one putting in all that effort in the background. So shout out to Emman.
Thank you.
Of course. Woo! Take your top off. I'm just kidding.
Not yet.
I'm just kidding.
Well, what's it called? Yeah, like I wanted to create this brand because I feel like nowadays it's not a brand that's really like for everybody, you know. Like I feel like you turn to Nike and Adidas and it's now become more of a luxury thing. It's more like, oh, look at this, how flashy I am and all this, you know.
Yeah, you're right.
You go to the other brands like, let's say, I don't know, let's just something to say like Gymshark or Raw Gear and all this, and all they're promoting is like, oh, if you work out, you can get big booty bitches and stuff like that, you know. And it's like that's not the way to go either, you know.
Yeah, it's because I think that like they're definitely promoting not a lifestyle, but more of like I don't know, a category that you fit in. You get me? Like it's more, that's what it looks like. For example, you guys, Filas back in the day was known to be a cheap brand, and like nobody really liked that brand. People, like my mom would buy me stuff from Filas, and I remember it being known as like a Hispanic freaking brand, like because they were cheap.
Even Champion.
Yeah, exactly. So you see, like back in the day, it was like if people would see me wearing stuff like that, they'd be like, what the heck? You don't have Vans, you don't have this, or you don't have that, you know? You have Filas, you know, because it's cheap. You get me? And like that's how people would look at it. But like honestly, like look at it now. That's a freaking like brand that grew, and everybody's like, oh, Filas. Oh yeah, you know? And it's like, what the heck? Like now it
like,
is.
Oh, that's vintage. Bruh. I just got it because it was cheap.
Yeah, so it's just like you gotta see how like media changes things and how they can make things come from nothing to becoming like, oh, if you don't have this, like you're not like cool, you know? And we just have to not give a damn.
Exactly.
Like, don't give a damn about what people say. Like, I love to see how my niece, literally, dude, she freaking inspires me, bro. Like, I'm not even kidding you. Like, she's still growing up, and sometimes, like, I hear, like, the stories that my sister will tell me or that my niece tells me herself, and people will, like, try to make fun of her because of, like, she likes a lot of, like, Hello Kitty stuff, a lot of, like, cute character stuff, like, you know, animated things. And she's like obsessed with, she's like, this is so cute, you know, and I love that. And she'll wear her cute little shirts that they're still like, you know, and she's going on to middle school now, you know, and like I know some people at that point are like, no, I want to be like wearing cool stuff. I don't want to be wearing this. I want to look good, you know, like at that, you're starting to grow up, I guess you can say, mature if you want to say.
Yeah.
But they want to be more mature because they're seeing all these people like in the media, like, oh, it's like they're wearing like these new shorts and shirts and like, oh, I want to look good myself too, you got me? But she will wear her clothes that is like child clothes, which is good though, because she's a freaking child. Like she's wearing the clothes she needs to be wearing. You get me? Yeah. And some people will try to poke at her, and then they'll be like, oh, like, what are you, a baby? And she's like, no, I just like it, okay? And she'll walk away. And it's like, damn, hell yes, this is what we need in a lot of these kids, because some of these kids take that to heart and they're like, oh my god, I'm never gonna wear this shirt again. I'm never gonna, like, I'm gonna stop wearing all this stuff that I like because, oh my god, people make fun of me. Like, who cares? Own that crap. Own who you are. and you will see that you will gain the respect from these people.
Exactly.
You get me? Like, that's how you earn respect. Other than that, you just look like a freaking follower.
Pretty much. You look like everybody else, you know?
Yeah, exactly. So
it's kind of, I don't know, it just actually reminded me of the real Slim Shady.
oh yeah?
And it's like how everybody just looks like, oh, to say that everyone's trying to be like him,
Yeah.
look like him, and they say, oh, the real Slim Shady, please stand up, and everybody stands up. It's like, everyone's just trying to be like him, you know? Because everyone's a follower. And it's the same thing. You don't want to be like everybody else. You want to be unique.
Exactly. And that's how it should be. Be who you are. Speak up for what you believe in. You know, it's not always going to be. I mean, the way you speak up, you have to watch out. You get me? You can't just say however. You do have to learn how to communicate, is what it is, for sure. You know, communication is definitely key, and you have to learn how to express even hard conversations or beliefs that aren't like ideal to everybody. Like, how to kind of bring it up without causing chaos.
Yeah.
You get me? And not everybody is capable of that, and that's okay, because sometimes these conversations are going to be had, and we can reflect on this stuff. You get me? To learn how can I communicate better? Oh, I should have said this instead of yelled at them. Or, you get me? Like, it's true. You learn from your experiences. So I think overall that's like important, and like keep true to yourself. And that will show you that you are going against the current, even with that, you know. So it's just interesting because like we're not meant. I mean, me growing up like with the church and stuff, like I think that's always something that like they would say, you know, they'd be like, oh, you're not of this world, like you're made in God's creation, like in God's image. I'm sorry, and like you have to separate yourself and put yourself apart from everybody else, and that's one of the hardest things to do.
It is. I mean, think about it, right?
Things to do.
Like Jesus had to go through like people spitting at him and everything like that, like mistreating him, you know.
Yeah.
Because he was going against everybody, you know.
And it is hard. It is hard when, like, I can't put myself in Jesus' situation because I don't know, like, from what I've read and what I've heard and from what I've seen, even in the movies.
Yeah,
you
even
get
in the
me?
movies.
Because they portray that through what is written. Like, I'm not trying to put myself in his situation because I don't think anything could ever compare to what he
I don't think so either.
like endured, you know. But like I did get to a point in my life where I felt like everything was going against me. Everybody was just going against me, and it was the hardest thing to feel. You know, it really is a hard thing to feel. Like you're just like, what the heck? Like after everything that I've done, and like you guys know me, and like this is still the way I'm being seen. Like really, you know, like it's hard. It's not easy, but like I think that's what pushed me. Even it did bring me down, not gonna lie, but it also pushed me. Like it didn't bring me down to the point where like I could have done something about it and been like, you know what, I'm out of here.
Like distraught, you know.
Exactly, distraught to the point where I did not want to be on this earth. I did think about it. I'm not gonna lie, because it got to that point. It was tough. But at the same time, I would think about Jesus and be like, dang, well, he endured worse. People spit on him. People hated on him consistently. And it's like, dude, like, I can never compare. Like I said, I can't, and I'm not trying to exactly. But just to even feel that small sense of what I felt within that time is insane.
Exactly.
And to have to continue and still show love and still do that, like, it's not easy.
Yeah, it's not easy.
It's not.
It really isn't.
So, like, I think that it's important to, I don't know, to just, like, you know.
Like, keep moving forward.
Yeah, keep moving forward in those moments. Because the world is not an easy place. And we're all going to, eventually, we're going to each come to a point where we're like, what the heck? Why is everything going against me? What the heck, you know? But that's the point where we have to keep on fighting.
Exactly.
And fighting the hardest for ourselves in that point, to be honest. You know?
It's our individual battle, pretty much, you know?
Exactly. It is our individual battle. But I think that, like, in my case, like, as a believer, like, you know, we do have to set ourselves apart. And it just reminded me of Jesus being, like, he went through that to overcome something bigger for us. You know? And it's like, okay, well, how can I put myself in a situation that, like, how can I overcome this to make to make this bigger and better for like other people. Not like bigger and better, but what I mean is like, how can I get this experience and improve others people's lives in a way?
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
That makes sense.
And I think that's just like, even just through sharing stuff like this, like, hey, you're not alone. It's gonna get tough, and I think that's what people sometimes don't understand. They think they've been through some tough stuff, but boy, it can get tougher. Yeah, it can get tougher, dude.
And that's another thing I remember, like my dad would always say, like, you don't have to go through the experience yourself, learn through others' experiences, you know. But sometimes we're just that young and dumb, you know. Now we're like, nah, it won't happen to me.
Yeah.
And the same thing happens. You're like, damn, I should have listened.
Yeah.
You know.
But
like,
you're right.
It is a way of, like, in a way, a human cheat code, right?
Yeah.
Learn from other people's mistakes so you don't commit the same, you know?
Exactly, yeah. And that's definitely something that I think that's something I definitely, like, took into consideration always. Whenever I encountered certain things. I remember, like, my parents or even my siblings, like, other siblings, giving me advice on things, and, like, although I didn't always listen to it, I did always consider it.
Yeah.
You know? And I think that's important, because providing advice to somebody, although they may not use it always, at least they may keep that in mind.
Yeah.
You know? And that's very important too.
It is very important, yeah.
So, I mean, I know for a fact it's helped me out in some times, but again, like you said, other times we still went with it like, well, like you said, it's not going to happen to me. And then yet again,
it happens.
I should have listened. I guess he was right?
No, yeah.
Yeah. But anyways, there's another topic too that I want to talk about. Something that blew my mind, like a little bit ago. Like now that we're on this topic about like God and things like that.
Yeah.
It's just crazy because there's a lot of, like, even in the churches, you know, like, it's good. I think for me, like, church is good because it's a good reminder, a place where you can reflect and you can make friends. Yeah. I think a lot of people don't always have friends or family near around them. So I think a place like a church is a good place to get to know people that can motivate you and push you to be the very best, right? That's at least what it should be, right? But it just does suck that there's always going to be evil in the world. There's always going to be things that, like how they say, there's going to be wolves disguised as sheep in the church.
Yeah.
You know, like they always say that God is a shepherd and like we are the sheep, right? So we follow him. And we are supposed to follow after his steps and, you know, love the way he did, right?
Yeah.
So people are going to go to a place, and that's the thing. That's where you can't always just go with the flow completely. You have to be aware of things yourself. You have to know what's right, what's wrong. You know, because there's going to be things that you're going to see wrong even within the church, just like you see within your home, just like you see within the freaking school districts. Like anywhere
that's pretty much a community, you know.
Exactly. There's always going to be good, but there's always going to be those people that turn crap around, right?
Yeah.
And it just blows my mind, you guys, because my family and my siblings and I started going to this church when we first moved to Lake Elsinore. We were trying to find a church that we can like fit into and like, you know, attend for pretty much the rest of our lives. And we were, you know, bouncing around from some churches, like, okay, we went here for a while, tested the waters, yeah, maybe not. We went to another church, okay, tested the waters, maybe not. It was nice, but it's not where we fit in, you know. Eventually we got to this church, I forgot what it's called. I think it's just like church, it's like it's a Baptist church, it's a Christian Baptist church. I forgot the name of it, but I think it's like Wildemore Baptist Church, I think. So it's like the city over, next to Lake Elsinore, right?
Yeah.
And it blows my mind because my sister's the one that sent me this, like, news update, pretty much. And at that church, they had a school, and it was from, I think, like, pre-K even to like till high school. It was a lot. They had it like all grades, pretty much an all grade school. And so recently we found out, like, when we attended, we didn't have any issues. But again, I didn't feel like we fit in there, like, at that church. It wasn't bad, but I just didn't feel like we fit in.
Yeah.
But I guess there was news about that church that they had been abusing kids, and I'm assuming sexually as well, you know, not just, I don't know if it was just physically, but when I hear of abuse, especially in church, I don't know why the first thing I think of is sexual abuse. Because That's unfortunate, but it happens. You get me? And yeah, you guys, that was happening at that church, and to think that there's students that are going there consistently, you know, and like people taking advantage of that stuff, you know, like the truth always comes out. I don't know how long that was going on for, you know, but it came out.
Yeah.
And now, how bad is that church? How bad is that going to look on them?
Exactly.
You know?
Yeah, it's intense too.
It
because
is intense.
like you said, sometimes we want to be cheap in the church, you know, to like follow God, and then people take advantage of stuff like this, you know, because people sometimes come in their most vulnerable state and seeking help, you know.
Yeah, exactly. What do you mean cheap?
Yeah, a sheep, like.
Oh, a sheep. I thought you said cheap.
No, not cheap.
You want to be cheap, and I'm like, cheap.
No, a sheep.
You're like, but just going to church, how does that make you cheap?
No, like a bad cheap. Yeah, you know. But yeah, that's what I think, you know.
No, yeah, definitely, and that's true. That's the thing. That's the thing that like. But that's why there has to be dedicated people, dude.
Yeah,
that's what we need. That like.
And I feel like there's not too many, and the devil's always gonna be there, you know, to put his foot in there and like corrupt these people, you know. Like even with the Pope, it's like why, like he's supposed to be like the main guy, you know, and he's here like kissing this, what's it called, the Rothschild's hand, and like submitting to them, and then like, why? Who are they, you know?
Who are they for you to give them? Like, I think when I think of it, for example, I feel it's just interesting. It's just for me. I always think like if God, there, like you don't believe in God, I believe in God. So if there's a God, and I'm believing that there is, I feel that He, in my situation, should be the highest of high. So I put Him in that place, and I don't feel like nobody else, not even like the pastor, that I would need to kiss his hand or bow down to him. Like, I don't know if that's like right or wrong, but personally I feel like that's not right. I feel like he is a leader who will speak through God, or God will speak through him, I mean, you know, to get that message out and to help us reflect on our lives and guide us, and when we need to sit down and talk, that they can hopefully give us comfort, right, and hope, right. But I don't feel like it's somebody to completely honor and like bow down to, and like, oh, you're practically God. Like, no.
No, yeah, I think that idea is, I don't like that idea either too, you know.
Like, I think he's also a sheep in the end, trying to follow God too. We all are.
Yeah.
Right? So it's just interesting that, like, when you do see things like that where people are submitting to really high leaders,
like pretty much elite people who run the world in a way, you know.
Yeah, because like they own a lot of the stuff here that we have on this earth, you know. And it's just interesting when you see stuff like that. It makes you question things like, whoa, well, who are they for them to have pretty much, like you said, submit to them and be like, oh, kiss your hand and bow down to you while I'm at it. Like,
yeah,
that's just interesting.
Yeah, stuff like that just like make me more curious, you know. And I mean, there's a lot of conspiracy theories behind stuff like this.
Yeah.
And some people might deny it, but like, even the KKK was a real thing, you know. And it seems like that's something people try to hide and put back in the past, like as if it was just what's it called, like as if it wasn't real, like as if that was actual like a conspiracy theory.
Yeah.
But it was not a conspiracy theory. It really did happen.
Yeah. And who knows? It's probably still happening to this day, dude.
Yeah.
Stuff like that, like cults and things like that. People want to hold on to that. I don't know what it is, and it's like going back to like how they want to fit in and keeping a community. But you know, some people are just sick-minded, bro, and people are led by selfishness, and honestly, I would just say keep it as selfishness, because
pretty
when
much,
selfishness is like, you want it all for you, I want this, I'm gonna get it, I want that, but I want this to happen, so it's gonna happen. You know, like, selfishness is definitely something we have to avoid, And you know, it just depends. Like, you get me? Like, I'll tell like Emmanuel sometimes, like, baby, like, can I have like the bigger slice? I'm feeling a little selfish right now.
Yeah.
Like, whatever it is, you know. And he's like, it's okay, babe. I'm like, yes, you know, like, you get me? But it's not like I would be like selfish and be like, oh, Emmanuel made extra paycheck today, like, give me more of that, you know, like, no, like, that's like, you worked hard for that, like, I'm gonna, like, you have your money, you know, and like, I don't know, you get me? I can be selfish in certain ways, but I would never take advantage of somebody or someone, not even if I didn't know them.
Yeah.
Realistically.
That's what it comes with being, like, I guess, open, right? Like, speaking of, like, I guess, like, how do you say it? I can't put into words right now. I guess open about what you want. Like, like, speak about it, like.
Yeah, like, pretty much just communicate, like, being honest and straight up. I think that's where people kind of get confused sometimes too, like, being straight up, thinking you can just say anything, like, oh, I'm a straight up person. Like, okay, you can be straight up and be a straight up B word, you know, like, it's true, like, but you have to, again, know how to communicate things, you know. If I'm like, hey, I'm gonna get the big slice, you can get the small one. You're like, you're gonna be like, what the heck? I guess, you know. Whereas, like, I'm like, hey, babe, like, I'm like a little extra hungry today. Like, I know you ate earlier. Like, is it okay if I get a bigger slice here or whatever, get a bigger piece of whatever the heck it is? You get me? And, like, you know, you'll be like, no. Like, and even if you were asking me the same thing, I would be like, it's okay, baby, go for it. You know.
Or it's about how you approach it, to be honest.
Exactly. Like, even at my work, like, for example, at my work, I really do help out a lot. Like, I do some stuff that I'm not even supposed to be doing sometimes, just to help out other people. Not that I'm not supposed to be doing, but it's not my responsibility, right? So I just choose to, out of my own will, to, you know, help these people out. And I remember I could tell some of these people take advantage of me, because some of these people would leave early, get out of there, and I'd be like, okay, wow, so what now? I'm just stuck doing your work because you know that I'm going to come help. You know, like, this is the work that a couple people should be doing, and you guys are leaving me to it by myself, you know? So a little bit I would get mad, but I'm like, you know what, Janet? Like, you chose to do this initially. Just do it with a kind heart, you know? And I would keep saying that to myself, although sometimes I'd get mad when I would see certain things, you know? But I remember my manager told me, she was like, oh, Janet, you're very helpful, you know? Like, they love you going out there. I'm like, I'm sure they do, you know, because they don't get to work as hard towards the end, you know. And then she even told me, she's like, you know, I kind of just want to take advantage of you, like, closing all night. And I was pretty much like, what the heck? Did she really just tell me that? Like, she wants to take advantage of me and have me, like, always, you know, like, pretty much like doing the work. And I'm just like, interesting, you know. But that kind of dwelled in my head. And I was like, hey, like, at least she was honest to me about it, to be honest. And because she was honest to me, I was like, no, like, make sure I like alternating. Like, I like doing some mornings and some nights, you know. And she's like, okay, yeah, but no, definitely, I'll do that for you. But yeah, you know. And so I'm like, thank you, you know. So in the way, like, it kind of stuck in my head, like, oh, what a freaking jerk. Like, she really just, you know. But then at the same time, I'm like, hey, at least she was honest to me about it. Honestly, I'm a person that likes honesty sometimes. Like, as hard as it can be sometimes, or as hurtful as it can be sometimes, I think it's not as hurtful, like, when you're not honest about it. You get me? I don't know. So for me, I was just like, hey, I respect you now because you were, like, straight up with me. But because you were straight up with me, I was able to tell you,
what you wanted.
I don't want that. Like, I get it. I don't mind helping, but please don't do me that like that either, you know?
Don't do me dirty.
And she's like, no, I won't, you know?
That's funny.
So I'm like, thank you, you know? So, I don't know, just when it comes down to stuff like that, like, sometimes just the way you communicate things, you know, has to be honest. And I don't even know how we got to this, like, conversation about honesty here.
We're talking, I don't know.
We were talking about, like, the Rothschild stuff.
Oh, because we were talking about them being selfish and, like,
like,
like, people at church being selfish and, you know. Like it shouldn't be about that. It should be about honesty, you know,
Sure.
and being open about what they want.
Yeah, people need to have integrity. I think people don't realize. People think they're like alone all the time. They think like, "Ooh, I can get what can I get away with today?" And I think that mentality is completely wrong because, like I said, I truly believe that the truth is bound to come out. You guys hear the truth coming out of the government. You guys hear the truth coming out from other sources. And you're like, what the heck? This has been a lie, or they've been trying to like manipulate us this whole time, or they've been trying to do this the whole time, and it's like
even I can't believe like they were really involved with Twitter and like what gets posted and what doesn't get posted and what gets taken off, and you know, discrediting people, taking off things from people who were like doctors and whatnot, you know, that were saying like things about things against COVID, you know. And why does the government have a say of taking it away? You know,
when we have freedom of speech,
we have exactly, we have freedom of speech. They're not doctors themselves, you know, and they're just trying to push something that we didn't really need. Like look at us.
I mean, you know what? That's what's crazy though. Like I feel like when it comes down to that, again, it makes you question things.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, okay, well, why would you guys want to do that? Like, just let people say what they're gonna say. Like, I think that's where it is. Like, for example, for a minute, I felt like I needed to explain myself to everybody, and like, no, that's not how it happened. I need to explain because that's why they're seeing me the way they're seeing me. This is why they're hating on me the way they are. Like, they just don't know the truth. And I was so like, what is it called? My goal was pretty much to get the truth out, to make clear my name. You get me?
Yeah.
And I was like, it got to the point where I was like, why do I want to clear my name so much? When these people know me, they should know me. Like, they've seen who I am now. I've known them for years. Like, you know?
Yeah.
And like, why do I need to prove myself when I feel like I have through my actions, you know, and through my pretty much through my actions, I would say, you know. But again, just because the bad is always going to be highlighted more than the good, and people will forget about the good stuff so easily and highlight that negative stuff. And I mean, some stuff is going to be biased in certain situations, you know. And again, that's kind of where I learned to just let it go. And I was like, you know what? I know who I am. I know what my intentions were. I'm sorry I lost it for a bit.
Yeah.
But I needed to. Sometimes you need to lose yourself, or not that you need to, but you will lose yourself in order to freaking find yourself, bro.
Exactly.
It's the truth. And I think that's where everybody will eventually hit a rock bottom point.
Yeah. Where
they're gonna question why you're here, where you're gonna question what am I even here for? You know, and
like you said, your purpose pretty much.
Yeah, your sole purpose, and in the end, that's where you have to choose.
Yeah. Who
do I want to be? Where do I want to go? And how do I start from here?
Exactly. And that's why we want to leave a positive imprint, you know, on this world, you know.
100%.
And that's why it goes back to, you know, creating the gym brand. Or maybe it's not even a gym brand, it's more like a lifestyle, I feel like. Because it's called physically fit, mentally insane, you know. And being physically fit doesn't mean you have to have washboard abs, it just means you need to do something physically, you know. Whether it's walking, running, hiking, swimming,
and
dancing.
Zumba, exactly.
Yeah, Zumba, there you go.
There's so many ways to stay active. It's not always just gym and weights. And you know, weights is a good, honestly, if you haven't tried weights, try it out. It's something to explore. But of course, it's not something you need to do if that's not your, like what's called your niche, you know?
Yeah.
I was always into running more than anything. I started running, my freshman year of high school. And I got addicted to running. And I remember I would do my exercises at home, my home workouts. I wouldn't do like weights or anything because I didn't have any of that stuff. And I mean, my brother did, but I never used it. So I never used it. So I was like, I don't need it, you know. Emmanuel was the first one to actually challenge me with weights, and I think it's a good way to challenge yourself because you think, what? How am I going to do this? It's so heavy.
Yeah.
Like I started out with doing squats with just the bar.
Yeah.
You know, like, and just the bar is 45 pounds, and I remember that taking a toll on me, and I was like sweating, like you know. And then like next thing you know, I'm adding like a 10. Next thing you know, I'm adding a 20. Next thing you know, it's like a 45.
Yeah.
Next thing you know, I'm fucking doing like 50. No, I'm just kidding. But, I'm just kidding. But seriously, like, you know, like,
yeah.
I've seen the growth, even with like bench pressing. Like, I never did bench press, and I was like embarrassed. And I was like, I don't know what it's like. And got into my head about it. But then I was like, well, you know what? I'm here to work out. I'm not here to see. For anybody to notice me. I'm not here to notice anybody. I'm here with my man to just freaking work out and sweat and gain some freaking muscles, right?
Yeah. It's true.
And yeah, and even with that, just the bar again, that was so heavy to me. I was like, oh, my arms were freaking shaking and everything. And then afterwards, okay, add like a 2.5 pound.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then a 5.
And then you add a 5 and you add a 10. And it's just a challenge, and it's a mental challenge. And now I got to the point where I was doing even like 17.5 pounds on each side with the bar. And then even I think I got to 20 on each side.
I think you
to
did,
a certain point. I haven't done it in a minute, I'm not gonna lie, but like still, like I'm sure I can do it still. You know, and with everything, it's a challenge, and I think we just have to learn that our bodies are gonna feel pain and hurt and all this stuff, but it's the mentality, and that's where Emmanuel and I say, like, we're mentally insane. Yes, I always tell him, I'm a crazy ass woman, babe. And if you either love it or you don't, you know.
Yeah, and I really love it.
And I don't mean crazy and like psycho type of thing. I do use that word sometimes occasionally. I'm psycho. But like what I mean by that is like, I don't know, it just goes back to just having a mentality that other people don't have, you know, that people think is crazy.
Yeah, exactly. If you do something that's out of the norm, people are like, oh, well, you're crazy.
Exactly.
That's the first thing they say.
Exactly.
Or like, for example, let's say you're benching this much. Oh, damn, you're crazy. You know, you're
Like,
going runs. You're going on marathons. Oh, you're crazy. Like, you know, and like there's a lot of things that they say you're insane and whatnot. You know. But yeah, right now I've been focused more on weights. But tomorrow I'm going to challenge myself. Remember, I'm going with my friend Raul. Shout out to Raul Romero.
Oh, yeah.
So, I'm going to go run tomorrow. I haven't been practicing, but I have faith in myself. But yeah, we'll see how it goes. At least it's going to be the beginning to some running.
And you'll get there. I'm sure you can, like you said. And I remember I did... I supposedly would run, right? And I think one time I told you that I did like some training with like some like military stuff, military training. And I remember like the recruiter there was like, keep pushing yourself, it's all in your head, keep going. And I was like, fuck you, dude, I'm tired. Like I was so tired. But like honestly, I really think about it, and it's like, honestly, I think I probably could have pushed myself. It's just because my mentality went low. And I'm not the type of person that likes to be yelled at. Like, I don't like to be motivated by other people. Like, in that moment. I cannot. If you yell at me and tell me to keep going, I'm going to get pissed off at you and be like, you know what, screw you, I'm not going to do it. I don't know why. That's just the person I am sometimes. But, like, I'm the person that either music has to motivate me or myself.
Yeah. No, that's kind of hard.
Yeah.
Sometimes you have to listen to your body, too, but... It depends. I know it kind of reminds me also like of this coach my brother had, and he would always push these kids like a lot, you know. But I mean, it was a very competitive team, so you had to be pushed, you know.
Yes.
And he was always like, pain is only temporary. You gotta callous your mind, you know. Once you callous your mind, like you get calluses in your hands from lifting or whatever, you know, it's not gonna hurt as much.
And that's true.
And you just gotta keep growing and getting your mind callous, because then once your mind is more callous, then it's harder for people to get into your head. It's harder for people to really change like the idea of yourself, you know, that you have about yourself. It's harder for people to change that, you know.
Yeah, 100%.
Like you really get in tune to who you really are.
Yes.
You know.
Exactly, and that's true, because it makes me think about like that kind of reminds me of like when I used to do karate. So initially when I did karate, that freaking karate professor teacher that we had, dude, he was a Hispanic guy, and this guy, you guys, went hardcore. He had no mercy for his students. And I don't mean that in a bad way. He pushed us to the limits. And I remember, like, me having a lot of doubt in myself, a lot of the times.
Yeah.
Fear and doubt, you know. And I remember him literally being like, we were doing cartwheels. I know it's simple, like, you know, but it had to do part of, like, our flexibility, like, our, you know, with karate, it's everything.
Yeah.
You have to be able to kick high, be able to do certain things, be able to, you know. So we were doing some trainings and we were practicing with, like, doing cartwheels. Okay, everybody do a cartwheel, make it good, you know. And I remember, like, he was very impressed by my two-handed cartwheels. He's like, you do really good two-handed cartwheels. I'm going to want you to do one-handed. Go next with one hand. And I'm like, excuse you? Like,
I never done that before.
Yeah, I was like, dude, I just learned to do these ones. Like, what do you mean, you know? And now you want me to do a one-handed one? Like, don't you think my arm could break? Don't you think that, like, all this can happen? Like, you know? And I'm like, what do you mean? And I think, honestly, I had broken my arm before this already. Okay. So I think that was another thing that was kind of scary for me. Like, one-handed cartwheel, like, I've broken my arm before. Like, this can happen again. And I remember he's like, no, do it. And I was like, I don't know if I can. He's like, do it. And I was like, damn, well, like, I can't do anything else. If I do the two-handed ones, I'm gonna get in trouble, and he's gonna have me in the back doing some worse training. Like, because that's how he would. He would have no mercy. I'm telling you. Oh, you didn't do it right? Okay, go to the back here. You messed up. Do it. It was like military training, bro.
I think, like, I have had some intense coaches, and they were also they were always Hispanic. Only that one guy, the one that I told you about, he was only, like, I don't know who he was. He was foreign. He wasn't, like, he was white, but, like
from a different country.
Yeah, but I feel like it's because they know, you know? They know that this world is not, like, for the weak, you know? They know that if you challenge yourself here, you could challenge yourself outside in the actual world, you know? And I think that's the importance of, like, competitive sports and sports in general, you know? Because you really do push yourself, you know?
Yeah, exactly. And that's so true. Like, they know something we don't know yet.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
It's like they're pushing our limits here to prepare us for later, you know?
Exactly.
And I think that's very admirable.
Yeah, 100%. It is admirable. You don't see it in the moment at all.
Exactly.
At all. But that's what I'm telling you. Like, this story goes back to me, like, being Jan. He really believed in me more than I believed in myself, that I can do it.
Exactly.
And then I did it. And he was like, eso, you know? And I was, like, so proud, like, of myself and grateful to him. Like, thank you for being so proud of me. And I felt good that he was proud of me, especially because he was a tough cookie, you know? And it's like, oh my god, and he's proud of me. I just made him proud, and I just freaking did that, and I had to continue, and I did, you know. And it's like, dang, like, I really got to see the growth and the challenging and the overcoming fears and doubting yourself, you know, like, overcoming all that. And I don't know, I think it's important. I think that's where honestly where I want to be with people. Like, I do want to push people, and, like, that's why I tell you guys, like, you know, some stuff, it's going to be hard to hear, but it's the truth. You know, it's the truth, it's the reality of it, and it's not to bring people down, it's more to encourage you. Like, this is the reality of things. Why are we going to sugarcoat it for you?
Exactly.
You know? But yeah, guys, check out the gym brand. Check us out at the Emman and Jan show, right? That's our
I think
Instagram?
That's both for Instagram and TikTok.
Is there, like, any underscores or anything?
Let me see. Let me double check.
I don't remember. I think for the Instagram, it's just at the Emman and Jan show.
I think so too.
And then our Instagram, it might be just the same too, actually.
Yeah, so for Instagram is the Emman and Jan show, just like that. And then for TikTok is the Emman and Jan show with the underscore at the end.
Oh, I see.
So it's pretty much the same thing.
Just with the underscore.
Yeah.
But yeah, go check us out. Emmanuel's been consistently posting up on stuff from both of our things that we, for himself, for his physical stuff, and then I mean, I'll join him eventually. I don't know. I just don't. For now, I think I'll lay off of that stuff for now. But I do plan on joining him in with, like, some workouts and things like that.
She's pretty much helping me with the background stuff, like, for now.
Yeah, I'm more of, like, what is it called? For now, I'm pretty much just helping him out. Like, oh, he shows me the stuff, and I'm like, okay, I think maybe you could do this. I give him more advice on
pointers, I guess.
Yeah, pointers on, like, I think this would be better, you know. And right now I'm comfortable there. I'm not too comfortable yet to feel like I want to be the face of it yet, you know. Eventually, but But you'll see stuff from both of us there, you know,
Yeah.
regardless. This is him and I doing this together. And,
It's a team effort.
It is a team effort, although my face isn't going to be on there all the time. You get me? I like to see Emmanuel, and I think this is his, what's it called? Your environment, more than mine a little bit. And I'm adjusting to it too, you know?
But yeah, that's where, like, I think we're going to add more different things too, you know? It's not just about lifting weights. Like I said, you know? You can go on walks. You can go on little hikes.
Go on runs.
Go on runs, yeah. I'm doing running tomorrow.
Yeah, exactly. No, yeah, but there's so many ways, you know. It's always good to stay active. It's good to stay motivated. Do what you have to do. Look at yourself in the mirror. Yell. Like that's what I do. I wake up sometimes. I don't feel motivated. I'm like, let's go. And, you know, and it's like, what? And then Emmanuel's like, oh, what are you doing over here? And I'm just like, I don't know. I just wanted to yell. You know, but we motivate each other.
Yeah,
so.
it is fun.
It is fun. So stay motivated, guys. Stay physically fit. Stay mentally insane.
And then before we go, we're actually gonna do our giveaway.
Ooh, I forgot about that.
Yeah, we have to do it. We said we were gonna do it on the podcast, so just give us 1 second. Okay, guys, we just set it up right now, so we'll see who the winner is.
Okay, so we're gonna start. I'm gonna screen record this too.
So you guys don't say we cheated.
We'll post the responses and who won. Okay, so I'm gonna tap. Who is the winner? Oh shoot! Okay.
Oh damn! No way.
Yeah, way. Check that out, guys.
Shout out to Brian Rodriguez. He is our first winner. Well, pretty much our first winner, because I'm pretty sure we're gonna have more raffles later on.
Oh yeah, definitely.
But he's a winner for this competition.
For this first
for this raffle, yeah.
So shout out to you guys for sharing and tagging people and liking the post that Emman posted, because honestly that goes a long way. Although you guys may not see it that way. Honestly, we're really looking forward to do great things with this stuff and you know, motivate people to be better and to go against the current.
Yeah, exactly. To be a better version of yourself.
So yeah, guys, congrats to Brian Rodriguez. You'll be getting your shirt soon. Very, very soon.
I'll personally deliver it to you.
Hey, there you go.
There you go. Let's get this, guys. It's a team effort. You know, it's how it says it takes a village to raise a child, and this is my child right now.
What is
the gym brand?
Oh, okay, I'm like Brian.
No, not Brian. He's my bro.
Yeah. But thank you guys for staying tuned, and we hope you guys enjoy this podcast today. I know we went on some rants, but hey, there's a little podcaster for. So hope you guys enjoy this. We will be back soon. Once again, happy holidays in case we don't come back before then. But if we do, stay on the lookout and stay tuned. See you later, alligators.
Take care, guys. Bye-bye.